Hello, everybody. We'll go ahead and keep this one pretty short. There is not really a whole lot to cover. So I'm just gonna do some updating on the chart. I want to look at a couple different things, and then I want to talk about the price action that we're in right now. Um, I do have my chat up if you have any questions. So, I mean, most simply put, this is what we're looking at for price, right? We're range bound between 61 and just shy of 74. Now, the reason why I think that we're going to get a move up here is because price is range bound and we've deviated range low, back tested the level, flipped it to support. And have yet to take out some of these highs. So when I see these highs getting built up like this, we have an obvious supply zone here. So, people are selling off into this zone here. But because we had a deviation of this low where we did take out these lows here, that means that there really was demand here, right? We deviated the level, we back tested the level. There is demand in this lower zone, and we traded now above the midline. Of course, now we're slightly below. But when we deviate a range on one end and fail to do so on the other, or have yet to do so on the other, to me, that's why I still think that we're going to get that move up over here. So like I definitely think that like getting something to this effect at the very least, whether or not it has continuation, we'll have to sort of wait and see the reaction here. But I honest to God, like I wouldn't even be surprised if price did something like this. And then continued to range for a period longer until we get into about Q4. It was really interesting a long while back. Let's see if I can find this chart. This must be it. A long while back, I drew out this chart and I took a fractal. Yeah, it was this one. And basically, what I said, and this very much rings true, is that when we get this big move to the upside, I think we can expect price to do a whole lot of nothing for a while. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Right? And I think that if we go down to a lower time frame and go back over here, this was a very different structure, right? Price was trending upwards. You had all of these lows to be taken out. BTC obliged, had a back test and a dump down. But when this happened, you could see that there was a lot of these lower highs to be taken out. Or I'm sorry, not lower highs, these higher lows to be taken out. Whereas when we look at the structure over here, you know, this to me doesn't look. You know what? We're almost doing the opposite, right? Whereas before we were doing something like this, where then we took them out. Now we're seeing something like this, where I think we should take these out. And then from there, whether or not it continues or comes back down, you know, is something that we'll have to sort of watch for and see what happens. Looking at the weekly chart, for example, like when you see these weekly candles, I would be hard pressed to think that if we are going to get a move down, if we're looking at the weekly chart here, like it makes sense to me that we would see a weekly candle that wicks up like this if we are going to then you know, say come back down to the midline. Right? So this makes more sense to me to see something like that. In the coming weeks, if we were to get this move down, which I talked about this level for a very long time, I think this is a really key zone here that I wouldn't be surprised if we visited. I don't think we have to, per se. I just wouldn't be surprised if it did. But I think that my point altogether is that I would be very surprised if price didn't first get this move up. If we are going to get some bigger retracement or like play in some degree of a larger range, this makes more sense to me that we would get this deviation or sweep before getting that move down. If we get this move down at all right now. So, you know, going back on to lower time frames again, and this is a really cool trend line that we can follow. You know, you can see that none of these highs have taken each other out. I mean, to me, when you see that sort of structure, especially in a range bound environment, I mean, I here's what I'll say is like range trading has been very good to me. I'm that's like my bread and butter is I'm really good at acknowledging when a range is gonna form, and I trade the range really well. A lot of people make a lot of their money on trend based trading. For me, it's range trading. So, like if we go ahead and take a look back on some of my analysis here, you know, we caught this long here. You know, this was a long position that we took. This was our TP zone right here, up to about 71, 72K. And you can see that that's exactly where we hit. So we caught this long. It worked out beautifully. We hit our take profit zone. And shortly thereafter, I flipped short here. Price thankfully just missed my stop loss here. And we got the move down. great. So this is done. And now I've flipped long. My entry is obviously a little bit higher. I don't know what it is right now. I'd have to take a look, but it's obviously not there. My entry is, I don't know, somewhere in here probably. Which I'd like to average down. It's somewhere in here. So I'm I'm currently long, and the reason being, as I've talked about quite a few times, is, I guess my point is to say, like, the range trading's been really good. We caught the long from here. We brought it literally to the top of right where it was going to be, flipped short here, traded it down to what was our buy zone, right? I've been watching this area as a buy zone for a long time, for quite a while. I planned on having a back test here, and you can see why. It's been a really key SR flip zone for BTC for quite some time. In the same way that this has been a really key resistance zone for BTC for quite some time. And so, again, what I'm looking for is to backtest the zone, which we are doing. It's slightly front run right now, which I'm cool with. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me, right? As long as my stop loss holds. So I am long here, and that for that reason, like I said, I fully expect. You can see when we rejected from this trend line the second time, boom, big move down, rejected a third time, sizable move down, deviated it, decent move down, but it's becoming less and less of an area of resistance, this trend line, right? So what I'm going to be looking for ultimately is for some degree of a move to the upside where price confronts this once again, and instead, has massive break to the upside, to which then, we see these highs taken out. And then from there, I wouldn't be surprised if we swept and deviated and then got a massive dump. I wouldn't be surprised. I could also see continuation. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what price decides to do when we do confront, this zone up here at 74K. But like I said, for me right now, like I'm long. Like I had this plan for a really long time, for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we hit the zone, and everyone's super bearish and saying like we're gonna turbo nuke, and I don't know, just when you have a plan that far out and the levels start to hit and the sentiment isn't with you, it seems like a pretty good plan to me. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at some of these other levels just to see. Gotta update my previous week. Get these updated. Yeah, like there are a lot of things that make me very hesitant to think that we are gonna go higher. Like all the celebrity posts and all these other things that are going on right now. Like there are, don't get me wrong, there really are some top signals floating around. But I think that I think it would be more painful to go like this than to go like this, personally. And I think that price is doing a good job here of not actually dumping, but making people think that we're going to go to zero. Price is doing an awfully good job of that here. which I think is baiting people into shorts. And of course, you know, where are they putting their stop losses? Are in here. Their liquidation prices and their stop losses are in this area above these levels. And price is doing a really good job of holding this as support, but making people really bearish. So again, like, it just makes so much more sense to me to do this. Taking a look at our previous week levels, just from around the previous week low. Curious on lower time frames. Oh, that's a really nice bounce. Hmm. This is a nice bounce. I think this might actually have legs on it. Hmm. All right, let's take a look. I think that we'll call it there on BTC. I think that that's everything. What's your, what does it say here? What are your thoughts on the FVG below still? FVG below. I assume you're talking about this one. Yeah, so since my original analysis, I know I share a lot of analysis, so I get that it's sometimes it can be hard to keep up with a lot of that stuff. Part of my original analysis was to say that I was looking at actually holding this FVG as support. I said, you know, we could fill it, in which case, of course, my stop loss is in a safe zone for that if price actually came to fill. But I always thought of this area as holding a support where it would wick down fucking something like this, which is, you know, really what I wanted to see. This is close enough for me. Like I said, I'm long, and I do think the price is going to have continuation to the upside. So my thoughts on that fair value gap, if it gets filled, fine. I mean, for me, it you know, like, I would still, theoretically, I would still be safe, and there's a reason why I put my stop loss there instead of, you know, right below the FVG. But again, my original plan was always for this to hold a support. I actually didn't want to fill it. If anything, we could wick inside of it, but I didn't want to see it get totally filled. So yeah, so far this is kind of playing into that plan. If that answers your question, I don't think like this fair value gap is a particular magnet for me right now where I look at it and say, oh, this has to get filled before we go higher. I definitely don't feel that way. I do not feel that way at all. And like I said, in fact, I would like to see it hold a support rather than see it get filled. Boom. We're going to take a look at some of these other assets that we have been trading just briefly. So this was the short on Bohm. Obviously I didn't get filled, but man, this was like, I should have just, I was going on vacation. I was going out of town, and like I saw this deviation happen, and I posted about it in the Discord, and I said, that's it. That's the high. It's going lower. And my bids, or my sells, my shorts were set up here, obviously my limit shorts, so I didn't get filled, and I was just going to do it. And I'm like, I'm just going out of town, so screw it. Which was unfortunate because obviously I then missed what was a 30% dump on Bohm. But you could see that this played out really nicely, right? The plan was for, you know, a move down like this, and we got that move down then into our buy zone. I like literally filled on the bottom tick of this wick here, so that played out really well. And I'm still long. You know, I'm still sitting in this position. I think that it's holding up just fine. Again, again, like if we go ahead and pull the do our range volume pull here, you know, we're sitting right around the value area low. Also, like what we could consider like a range low of this zone. So again, like I've had this planned out for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we did it from here, and so far everything's going according to plan. So despite the sentiment and how bearish, you know, some of the alts are and all of that, I'm still long and I still like this position. FET, again, we talked about. I don't know, something like happened with FET, I guess. I didn't like read up on the news or anything like that. But the moment that we got down below here, we have not been trading FET. I haven't done any new updates on FET for over a week. This was an original position that I never took. I never took this position. I didn't see what I wanted to see, but this was our plan from several weeks ago. So we'll have to, I think something happened with this. So I might not be trading it anymore. I guess I'll have to kind of look back and see like what the news is surrounding this asset. I really don't know what it was. Pendle looks incredible. Pendle looks so good. 23% bounce off range lows to like the apps to the penny pretty much. This looks great, right? We filled this zone here. We got the move down. We're holding range lows of support. I'm long. We'll continue to be long. We'll have to update some of our levels here, but altogether, I think this looks great. And at the very least on this asset, I am going to be, this is not the previous week high anymore. This is the previous week high. At the very least, I do want to see these levels taken out here. So whatever this does, I'm going to be taking profit, you know, somewhere in this zone, and then of course higher up if we do get that additional move to the upside. But this is my first take profit area here at about, you know, $6.50. Pepe, I drew this out recently and shared it in the group. I think, again, I think this looks sick. Like, this looks great. I am long Pepe from like down here. I called the Pico bottom on this move, like exactly, and in advance. So I, having done that, I'm sure you guys have seen I have like a 12,000% PNL shot or something crazy like that. But yeah, we caught a an insane move. Is that right? Did I? Is that actually what I bought? Shit, I think it is. That's so crazy, man. Crypto's such a trip. What was it down here? What time frame am I on? Six one 6178. Yeah, this is exactly where I bought. That's crazy. Yeah, caught like a 200% move. So anyway, yeah, I am still long from that lower time from that time frame over there. I would like to add I'm gonna open up a new long in this zone, preferably at range lows, but this might even be it right here, but preferably at range lows. I'm expecting price to just like consolidate sideways until it confronts this trend line here. Look for a high volume breakout candle, move to the midline, take some profit in this zone, and then look for a move to range highs. From there, again, similar to BTC, we'd either expect a sweep or something like that down, or it has continuation, which we can look at. But so far, this is my new plan on Pepe. My Rune long got stopped out. This is some pretty nasty price action on Rune. I mean, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but a lot of these alts, like Rune, is down 41%. That's insane. I thought this monthly was going to be a good buy zone, and it has not proven it to be one. It has not been a good buy zone as such thus far. This is a pretty violent move down. This is a pretty violent move down. It has yet to have any relief at all. I really think that there is going to be some kind of a relief rally to this level. I think I'm going to let Monday range form, and maybe tonight or tomorrow I can take a look at this and see if we can come up with a new setup. But to me, this is so violent. This is such a violent move down. I mean, I guess Rune is known for doing this. As we can see from past price action, I've only just started trading it. So yeah, again, I'm gonna let Monday range form, and we'll come back to this. But this trade is stopped out from the monthly long zone. Solana is hitting a fresh weekly area of support. Again, I have to do a little bit of updating on the chart, but for me, let's actually just very briefly take a look. Yeah, I was looking at this the other day, and like I thought to myself, man, Sol is definitely going to be going to 165. I just as I look at this, like, to me, price is ready to go right here. Um yeah, there's some liquidity at 165. It's not a whole lot of stuff lower. Yeah. Um hmm. Delta is not as negative as I thought. Yeah, again, I'm gonna wait for Monday range to form, and we'll update some of the charts here and take a look at a setup. But I posted this recently. I definitely do think that I don't know what this is here. Oh, that's different. I definitely do think that that Sol is liable to run to 165. I do. I think that we're in a zone where I could very well see that happening. So again, I'm gonna let Monday range form, and I'm gonna come back to this probably tomorrow, and we'll come up with a trade setup for that. Vet is another one that's gone a lot lower than I originally anticipated. This is yeah, but I'm kind of not surprised because Vet. The reason I'm not surprised is because of this move here. Vet's pretty nasty. So you have this area of resistance here, right? And price deviates that level. Well, when it deviates, you would typically expect, a breakdown. Instead, it deviates back, loops up for a massive pump to the upside. Has a bullish pattern, right? Falling wedge here. I acknowledged this and I said, well, because we're doing sideways out, I actually think we're going to deviate the level. I think we'll get a move down into here. You can see I drew that out with this green line here. Hold that area of support, reclaim it for a move up. Price is actually going back down here, which, I mean, to me is pretty crazy. Could we get another deviation here where it's a little bit larger than I previously anticipated, where this ends up being the deviation? Absolutely, that's entirely possible. But for now, I have my trade set up, and I'm in my trade. I'm just gonna let like my stop loss and profits do the work, and continue to update this as things begin to happen, or if like something more interesting happens on the chart here. Otherwise, like for me, Pepe, Pendle, and BTC and Bohm, especially right now, are like the ones that I'm more interested in rather than Vet and Rune. So we'll take a look. I think so. We have some questions here. Want to see Fet merged? Yeah. See, that's what I don't. That's what I don't know. Like I genuinely I don't really know what happened with Fet. So yeah, I'll have to kind of look into that. Gold and silver, I don't only trade crypto, I do trade other assets. I am not sharing some of that analysis today, unfortunately. Fat Ocean, AGI, these cryptos settle merge into one coin. That's weird stuff. Oh, okay. Hmm. Okay, so it's not like something shady happened where I should avoid the coin. It's just there's some tokenomics or something happened. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. Very good. Another asset I'd really like to indulge in is ETH in the coming weeks here. Perhaps I'll do some fresh analysis on that tomorrow and share with some of our short videos. I don't think ETH looks great. So like as you look at this, like I said here, this is a weekly SR flip. This is a really key zone. We had this order block up here as well. We rejected from that area for a move down. This is a daily fair value gap that we held a support on this wick, held a support here, broke down, back tested, and confirmed as resistance here. So when I see something like that, my very first thought would to be to assume that we're going to fill this gap before any move up if we get one at all. So yeah. Um yeah, you sound a really interesting spot. I tried to do some analysis on ETH a while back and I just like didn't like the structure. When I looked at it, I'm just like, yeah, I really can't get a pulse on this. But as I'm looking at this now, I think I can get a better grasp of what we might be able to expect here. So um I will definitely get us some new analysis on this. I'm not going to do it today because I just want to keep today short and just review our positions. And again, primarily take a look at BTC. Yeah, pretty nasty rejection from that pump. BNB. I have not looked at BNB at all. Maybe I'll add that one. Honestly, it is a pretty staple coin. Let me just see how it's been moving. Oof. Yikes. Oof. Yeah, I'll do some analysis on this. I think this will be a really fun one actually. I'm glad that you brought this up. I will do some analysis on BNB this week. Excuse me. Um hmm, boy. Yeah, when I look at this, man, holy shit. Well, here's what I'm gonna say to you. You guys know that I love a good range. Yeah, I could see like BTC getting that move to like 75, 76K and like something like BNB gets the rally, but only like I could see it doing some shit like this where it was like boom, boom, And then basically I could see it doing something like that. Absolutely. If BTC catches a bid, I could definitely see BNB doing something like this. Either that or it's just straight up gonna fall. I don't think that that's the case. I really don't actually like that. I think that that's less likely. I could definitely see something like this happening. For this one, price is definitely going to range lows. That's all I'm gonna say. You can definitely expect 500. I think personally, unless I'm totally missing something. Let's just take a look at this here. Yeah, just 580. 580 is the midline. Yeah, I mean, or it maybe it does just do something like this, and then it gets a move up. Yeah, I'll do some analysis on this. This is a good chart. I really like this chart a lot. I'm glad you brought it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off there because I want to keep it at about 30-minute mark. Again, we're gonna have more analysis. I'll do those short, one trade in 1 minute video updates Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. So do expect a lot of those coming up with some trade setups for the weeks to come. As always, thank you for joining me, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the Discord. I'm glad that we were able to get some things addressed here in the chat during the stream. Again, you guys know the levels on some of these assets for me that I've been keeping an eye on. I think that we're at a really interesting point. And I think price being this choppy and so boring has been, it's done a really good job of making people bearish or uninterested in the market in a place where it's really not, in my opinion, you know, really bearish yet. I don't think. So something to think about. All right, guys, we'll see you in the group. Thanks again for watching.